What's up everyone, John from ARTV. It's time for a review of the latest from Our Last Night, a post-hardcore outfit founded in, I believe, 2004. It's hard to believe that they've been around for over a decade because they went under most people's radar for quite a long time. Didn't really start breaking through until their YouTube channel got popular. They started doing a bunch of cover songs, and that's actually how I found out about them. The name of the album is Younger Dreams. It's the follow-up to last year's Oak Island EP, which honestly kind of failed to impress me in any ways. It seems like after hearing some of this band's earlier work, which was a lot more creative and inventive, it felt a little bit more fresh, if you will. This new stuff just seems like it's trying to conform to what's popular in popular post-hardcore and metalcore music, and the quality of the music suffers kind of along with that, unfortunately. It's weird to say that you got into a band because of their cover songs, but that's kind of what happened for me. And as much as I might enjoy their takes on some of these songs, it's just that the covers always impressed me a lot more than their original material did. I just never really made that connection with the band. The vocals, a lot of the time, they just kind of feel uninspired. The instrumentals are nothing to write home about, that's for sure, and the precision is often just too on the nose with how it follows a certain formula. So I hit play on this album, and it opens up with a couple of quick punches in the form of Prisoners and Road to the Throne, both of which I wouldn't call amazing, but at the same time, they're still pretty solid. Prisoners is one of those tracks that's predictable but fun, like a roller coaster that you've ridden a lot of times, but at the same time, you still kind of get a little bit of a thrill, or at least some sort of enjoyment out of it. The guitar work here is much more intricate, especially during the verses of this song, than what's found on the majority of the album, and speaking of that guitar playing, it shows up once again on Road, which has a particularly catchy riff that kind of works its way throughout the verses of this track. It kind of plays all throughout, and then helps burst into this massive chorus, which I would say is one of the most memorable on the entire album. A memorable chorus, and an album kind of full of stale hooks that all feel done before. The band does have some screaming in their music, and it shows up here on this track, Road to the Throne, that I was just talking about. It is one of my favorite songs here on this album, and a lot of the time I do think the screams come off sounding a bit silly, a bit forced, if you will, not really that genuine, not because there was emotion or something that the singer was really feeling. It's something that comes across as just like, hey, let's write a screamo part on this track because it sounds like it might be something the fans would want. But on this track, Road to the Throne, I actually think it fits nicely with the style of the song. It doesn't really clash that much. There's an embrace of electronic sounds on the album Younger Dreams, and I think that's actually a nice thing. Some of the times it helps shape and form a couple of tunes that needed a little something extra, so I don't mind a synth line working its way in, or some extra glitches in the background along with a guitar breakdown. It actually adds a little bit of variety. Think something a la I See Stars or another band in the electronic-core genre, but not in a cheesy way and not to the point where it's just overkill. Let me reiterate that even though I do find some of these songs to have entertaining instrumentals, at least to an extent, I'm not calling any of them amazing. I can't sit here and really praise them for being super creative or anything like that, because a lot of this stuff does feel borrowed. Maybe not necessarily borrowed, it's just that it plays a little too close to home, plays things safe a lot of the time, and I can't help but kind of focus on the instrumental a lot of the time just because the lyrical content is very cliched more often than not, and we see that on tracks like A White Tiger, Imaginary Monster, and even the title track, Younger Dreams, which is a ballad that tries way too hard in my opinion. White Tiger in particular, though, is one that I had to kind of call out just because of how cheesy and silly it feels. I mean, this guy is comparing, I guess, a love interest or something like that to being special and rare, and it's like we've run out of anything else to compare things to, so now they're just going for these outlandish targets, and apparently now being a white tiger is what we're gonna go with. To me, I can't help but just kind of wear a smirk on the face and just say, smile and wave, get through the album, John. Diamonds just sounds so bland and recycled that the garbage man has, I kid you not, shown up at my apartment complex every single time I have played this song, and I'm like, am I gonna have to plug in the headphones? I guess that's what it's gonna have to be so he doesn't keep showing up at my place. I guess I'll wear the headphones if I ever want to listen to this one again, but let's not kid ourselves, that's probably never gonna happen. I'm just not into this album, guys. I don't know. It's got like every cliche that you could possibly get into in the book, to the breakdowns, to the inclusion of a children's choir on a song to try and make things sound more epic, if you will, or something like that. Like they're trying to add an extra sense that's just it doesn't work. I mean, it's been done all the way from Black Veil Brides to Our Last Night. It just does not work for me. Even when Rise Against tried it, I don't think it sounded that great in that track. Make It Stop, September's Children. Pretty good song, but the children's choir on it, I don't know. And along with that, those two things I just mentioned, the forgettable lyrics all throughout this thing, there's not much for me to get into and connect with here. Can you blame me? I'll admit that some of the songs are pretty well played, even moments like White Tiger, which I clearly did not care for lyrically, but it's something that I'm like, okay, that's got a pretty nice guitar line on it. The bass work is nice there, and of course they've got some outside influences, which could have helped some of these other tracks be something more than they actually are. I could pretty much say the same thing for A World Divided, although that is one track that has grown on me a whole lot with repeated listens, actually turning into one of my overall favorites here on the album. So for Our Last Night, Younger Dreams, I'm feeling a generous 2.5. I'm sure that plenty of people will disagree with me on this review. They seem to have a pretty dedicated and rabid fan base, so let's go ahead and keep it civil in the comment section down below. This was all just my opinion, so let me know about yours down there. Don't forget to smash that like button while you're at it to show support for the channel. Maybe subscribe and tell a friend while you're at it to help ARTV reviews keep growing. If there's other albums you'd like to see me talk about, let me know about them in the comment section down below. You can click right here or right here. That'll take you to either my vlog channel or the last review that I did, and you can check the description for all of my social media links. I will see you guys very soon right here on ARTV.